artificial brooding of poults. So first, what is artificial brooding? Artificial brooding is defined as the handling of freshly born poults without the aid of the hen, and a temperature-controlled brooder is used to perform on this task. Brooding occurs in turkeys for a period of 0 to 4 weeks. And starting the poults. When you starting the poults, place the poults in the brooding quarters and give them feed and water within 24 hours after hatching. The sooner, the better. Poults may be started on covered or uncovered litter, on spalt roofing, on wire or slat floors, or in batteries. And to start the poults on covered litter, put down about 2 inches of suitable litter material distributed evenly over the brooder house floor. Place a layer of sturdy, rough surface paper on top of this litter, under the hoover and 1.5 to 3 feet beyond it, and enclose it with a brooder ring or bolt guard. Remove the paper after 5 or 6 days and place the poults on the litter, which should be deepened to 4 inches to another week. To start a brood of 250 poults on spalt roofing, place a layer of the thick, waterproof roofing directly on the brooder house floor to cover an area about 9 feet in diameter, including the hoover. And the roofing serves to insulate the poults from the ground, which is especially vital if the ground is damp or chilly. And the poults can stay on this surface for up to 3 weeks, after which the roofing can be removed or reused or left in place but covered with litter. Sand on top of the roofing is not required. However, it is recommended. Litter for breeding. For starting poults, uncovered litter rather, non-splinty softwood shavings is one of the few suitable materials generally available. Bright, clean wheat straw sometimes can be used, but it must be free from chaff or other small particles. With this and most other litter materials, however, it is safer to confine the poults for 5 to 6 days to a bare rough surface or sun-covered surface, or to start them in batteries for 5 to 10 days. After the first few days, you can use a variety of litters, including shavings, wheat, and beardless barley straw, peat moss, and other natural materials. Litter management. To provide good litter, first put down about 2 inches of loose litter and then add to it at intervals frequent enough to provide a dry, clean, resilient walking surface with good ventilation and a liberal supply of litter. The brooding environment usually remains favorable. If damp or cake droppings together, cover them with clean litter, or better yet, remove them and place them with clean litter. It's a good idea to turn the litter now and again. And after the poults are around 3 weeks old, feeders and waters can be changed more regularly or placed on wire or slat-covered platforms to improve sanitation. Feeders and waters during brooding. Small true-type metal feeders or wooden feeders made of plaster lugs are placed like spokes in a wheel, part under the hoover and part outside it, but within the brooder ring. Supply one 3-foot long through feeder for each 40 poults, which is about 2 linear inches of feeding space per pulp. To promote eating, fill the troughs with mush at start to entice the poults. Some operators put a little mush in a few paper plates or egg flats the first day or two, as well as some colored glass marbles on the feet. And to provide good watering facilities during brooding, start with one circular 1 to 2 gallon of glass or metal baby pulse size water for each 50 pulse. Select a water with a narrow drinking space, not over 1 and 1/4 inches wide and 1 and 1/4 inches deep. An alternative is to start with one baby pulse size automatic water trough 4 feet long for each 80 pulse. Place the waters around the edge of the hoover and put a few glass marbles in each one. Put a few glass marbles in each of the waters and place them around the parameter of the hoover. Every day, not only emptied, water should be scrubbed or rinsed. Disinfection is rarely essential, but if it is best to use ammonium or chlorine. So, requirements for brooding. First is temperature. Young poults will not live and grow unless they are kept warm and dry. For at least the first 2 weeks, the temperature 3 inches above the floor at the edge of the hoover and should be 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius for dark poults and about 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37.8 degrees Celsius for white. The brooding temperature of poults in 1 to 7 days, it should be 36 degrees Celsius, and when it 2 weeks 32 degrees Celsius, and 3 weeks 28.3 degrees Celsius, and when it 4 weeks 24.4 degrees Celsius. The second requirements for brooding is ventilation. Ventilation during brooding always is important. It removes excess heat, moisture, dust, and odors from the building, and at the same time dilutes airborne disease. It is ideal to have a well-designed system of fans and intakes, especially if you are using open flame brooders and have a small floor area. And the third is lighting. For the first 2 weeks of breeding in all types of houses, the room should be well lighted day and night at 10 to 15 foot candles at pulp level, and if practicable, a small 7.5 to 15 watt light bulb should be installed under the hoover. At night, the dim lighting may aid to prevent peeling and stampeding. The another one is corners. In individual brooding rooms or small brooder houses, corners should be rounded with small fish 3 4 3 4 or less. Wire to prevent or reduce losses from peeling, which may be caused by fright drops or too low floor temperature or during catching. And another one is the roost. It is used in modern turkey brooding operations, but they may help to prevent stampedes and peeling at night. Roosts used during brooding to not contribute to breast blister trouble later on. Size of units and floor space. For brooding turkeys to 8 weeks in naturally ventilated houses, allow about 1 and 1/4 square feet of floor space in the brooder house for a large type bulb, 1 square foot for a small. In insulated forced ventilated houses, 0.8 to 1 square foot is sufficient up to 8 weeks but no longer. Inside the floor space may be reduced but by 1/3 if porches or yards are used. If they are not used or cannot be used due to weather, the whole suggested space should be provided in the brooder house itself. And for growing turkeys, the fry rooster age 12 to 13 weeks for large type white turkeys, usually hens only, or 15 to 16 weeks for small or medium type turkeys or both sexes. Allow 2.5 square feet for each bird.